up, guys? It is update time once again, and today I want to talk about snow cone stand and the progress that has been made since my last video. Why are we watching me play Sonic? Well, I needed to have an intro, and this sounded like fun, so let's do it. Anyways, yeah, today I want to talk about the updates to the game, what's been done. I have plenty to show off, actually. I've made pretty good progress on it. And in my last video I did mention that if you guys wanted to see more of an in-depth code review, to let me know, and almost all of you said, yeah, let's see it. So yeah, I'm going to cover that. I'll be honest, I'm not really that into code reviews. I tend to get bored, and shit, I just got hit. Anyways, I tend to get bored and skip ahead, so I don't want to really drag that portion of the video out, but I will cover what I think is cool or important to show off, so we'll do that. And then the last thing I want to cover is something that really I haven't heard much talk about as far as this goes for indie games, and that is marketing. So once you actually have completed a game and you release it, how do you get the name out there? How do you get people talking about it, playing it, things like that? And I am by no means a marketing expert, but since this whole True Fun Entertainment thing is a one-man show, I do that portion as well. So I think it might be fun, at least to get you guys thinking about it, and I'd love to hear your feedback. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the updates to the game. First off, you can see that on this day setup screen, our recipe now has the ability to configure the amount of ice that you want in your snow cone. Before I had advertisements here, but that doesn't really make sense because you have to purchase advertising. So now on the supply shop window, you have the ability to purchase advertisements. And I've also added a control that totals up the amount at the bottom, and when you check out, it actually adds the items to our inventory. So that screen's pretty much done. We can also see that we've added the temperature in degrees underneath the current weather forecast. And underneath cash, there's this new concept of reputation points. So the thought behind this is each day as you get more and more happy customers, you're going to increase your reputation. That ultimately affects your customer base. And so you're going to have more potential customers the more reputation points you get. So let's take a look at the Open for Business screen. We can see it's about the same. We can see our avatar in the middle waving and customers coming along, but you'll see they now comment. They can say my favorite, or more ice. They'll say if they like it or if they don't, and they'll continue to comment as they walk by. In the top left corner you can see a play button, so I can also speed this along. Since each day you're going to be watching this screen, I wanted a way to fast forward and get through this screen faster if you wish. You can watch it at normal speed, or you can fast forward it if you'd like. So now that we look at the results, we can see that we had 40 potential customers and we made 26 sales. And 42% of our customers were happy with their snow cone. So for this we earned 2 reputation points and earned $11.96. And on the right we can see that our avatar is cheering us on. And this changes based on how you did for the day. If you did great, they're going to be cheering. If not so much, they're going to be crying, or they'll be mad at you. So, and as you can see, on the next day it's going to be 19 degrees and freezing. So the weather changes day to day, and it just kind of adds a challenge to the game, so that you have to change your recipe based on the weather that day and what your customers are telling you. Okay, so for the coding portion today, I really just want to focus on one aspect of the game, and that is the forms. I mentioned in the last video that I wanted to recreate what's available in ASP.NET, where you have the concept of a form and then controls that belong to that form. So we can see here we have a couple different types of controls. We have these count controls to increase and decrease a selected value, and then we also have a button. Now all of these controls all inherit from the same interface. So here's our interface, iForm control. We can see we have a set of properties, that all of our controls will have to implement. Things like an ID, a top and left, which is like an X and Y, some sort of label text, and then also methods such as select, initialize, update, invoke, and draw. And we're going to go into some depth of invoke and what we can pass in there when we look at the button control. So, but here's an example, our count control, which also inherits from iForm control. So we can see it inherits or implements all of those public properties, as well as some specific to the count control as well. And then if we look at button, same thing. It inherits from iForm control. It gives a definition for those properties, and then also it defines specific things about the implementation, such as if it gets invoked, what happens. Also in something like a draw, it'll tell it how to actually draw that control. And then in form, we have a public list of iForm controls, and that is our controls. So now this form has all of our controls in a collection. And then we can do things like select next control, select last control, and handle input for the entire form. So if someone presses up, it'll select the last control, down for the next control, and so on. And then for the update, we can just traverse all of the controls in our controls list and then blindly call an update method. And the same for draw. We don't actually have to know what those controls are doing behind the scenes. So how do you create a form? Let's take a look. Here's the day config form setup. We instantiate the form, give it a top and left. We set the amount of spacing in pixels between each control. And now we add controls. We're going to add count controls to this form for the price, the amount of syrup, and the day ice. And then we can give it an initial value and then set a min and max for those controls. So the cool part now is adding a button. When we add a button control, or when we have our button class, we don't actually have to define inside that class what happens on button click, because obviously you'll want multiple buttons on multiple forms, and you wouldn't want to hard code that functionality into your button control. So we're using what's called a delegate, and essentially this is a function pointer. So we can define this block of code outside of the actual button class, and that gets a reference to this gets passed into the button so that when you invoke it, it gets executed. So once we've added our controls to our form, we initialize it, and we're good to go. So that's all for today's coding portion. Now let's talk about some marketing. Okay, so marketing. I wanted to cover this topic just because I think it's interesting, and I haven't heard a whole lot of indie developers talk about it. So once you actually have a game, how are you going to get the name out there? Get people talking about it, interested in it, all that fun stuff. And my whole angle with Snow Cone Stand is the fact that you're using avatars in a meaningful way. If you think about it, there's really not a whole lot you can do with your 360 avatars. They just kind of sit there and smile at you. There are a few games like Scene It where you can use your avatar, but look at them. They're still on the couch. They're being lazy. They're not doing anything, right? So let's put them to work. And Snow Cone Stand lets you do that. My whole angle with Snow Cone Stand is get a job. And in fact, I may change the title of the game to Get a Job. Snow Cone Stand is originally the point was hopefully people would see Snow Cone Stand and say, hey, that's like Lemonade Stand. I want to play that. But a game like Get a Job I think is more eye-catching, and it may get them to want to look up and see, hey, what is this, and download the demo. And that's the whole plan. Get them to play the demo and then maybe purchase the game. So currently there's 459 games out there on Xbox Live. If you think about it, that's really not a whole lot compared to like iPhone, which has 160 new applications coming out a day. The marketplace is smaller on Xbox Live, and that means that I can be a greater presence in that marketplace. And I plan on doing so by using the marketplace tokens. Microsoft gives you 50 free copies of your game to send out and use as you wish. So I want to use those effectively. So I've come up with a communication plan that defines what the game is, where it's going to be located, how it works, and then when it's going to be available. I have several avenues to communicate this to my audience through YouTube videos such as this one. I'm going to have a teaser video, a trailer. Then I'm going to send out review emails to different outlets that do reviews for games, send them free copies of the game, try to get them talking about it, and then finally to do a press release. Seems a little ambitious for a little project like this, but I want to give it a shot. Whoa, wait, what?